Cliff Jumper. Commence countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
Hello and welcome to the 27th episode of ToyCast, brought to you by the GeekCast Radio Network, also www.bigbadtoystore.com, where as of right now you can save up to 20 to 90% on all of your toy needs. I'm your host, TFG and Mike, and I'm joined by General Techno. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, we have a lot of news that has been coming out this evening. We are recording this Tuesday night, December 8th. It will be released Wednesday morning, December 9th. Michael Bell has been contacted, and tomorrow he will be going for an audition to the new Transformers cartoon. So, yeah, we've got news about the new cartoon. Actually, it's funny. I will go ahead and spoil this. I wasn't going to do this originally, but for the upcoming the Beast Unleashed podcast that Steve, myself, and Michael Wilson are going to be doing starting in January, we actually got an interview with David Kaye, that's right, Beast Wars Megatron, and animated Optimus Prime, Lugnut, and Grimlock. He actually told us that I had made a comment in the interview to him, you know, I believe that he, besides himself, Sue Blue, has been the one person that has been the longest involved in the Transformers on television cartoon things. He goes, yeah, and she's still going to be involved with it. And my jaw just literally dropped to the floor. I don't know if it was something he planned to say. It wasn't something we specifically asked him.
Well, in the Moonbase 2 podcast, they released their latest episode, which was their interview with Michael Bell, where this news is from. They did say that as well, that Sue Blue is casting this show, and she's probably going to be directing it as well.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Confirmation.
Yes.
And yeah, it was saying that Michael Bell, it sounds like he's read for a couple of characters already.
It says on the TFW page, it says he read for Ratchet, or he was being asked to read for Ratchet. Which, you know, I'm pretty much holding off all judgment on this thing until I see it. Because because right now, the movie stuff, Revenge of the Fallen stuff is over. Granted, they're still pumping out Revenge of the Fallen toys. That's more than fine. But, I mean, pretty much the movie stuff has died down, hasn't it?
Yeah, my guess is that we're going to be seeing movie stuff until the summer. Until the beginning of around May, June or so, in all likelihood.
Yeah, I know, but
just going off of when Transformers Animated launched.
Right.
That seems the most likely choice as to when.
Right, but I mean, as far as like the chatter and the talk and the discussion and all that stuff, it's pretty much not even movie related anymore, as far as I can tell.
Well, people want to know what the next new thing is going to be,
yeah.
And we just got a huge hint tonight when that was a Game Informer article, I think, showed up with a scoop on this brand new Transformers game, which looks very much like a semi-stylized take on the War Within type designs, in that it's very G1, it's very recognizable. It's really nice graphics, and given how it's just going off of looking at other shows that are on the air, plus how this is somewhat stylized, and the fact that there's no way they're going to invest a budget in designing something this new from scratch, I think we're looking at what the new Transformers series is going to look like.
Yeah, it could be.
And furthermore, just to add more evidence to this, when I saw the pictures of Prime, I immediately thought of a certain prototype that showed up on the internet probably a couple months back or so when that Drift prototype showed up. Mm-hmm. There was a prototype of a unknown figure which, based off of some people have looked at it, and there's some parts on it which you can tell it's the same figure as that Prime. So we've seen a toy for this Optimus Prime already.
That's cool.
I'm going out on a limb here and saying that is going to be what we're getting for the next cartoon.
And that would be more than fine. The only thing I did not like about those images was the Megatron alt mode.
He's just a generic tank?
I'm not real keen on that. I like his gun, though, in robot mode. His gun looks really cool.
See, to me, Megatron robot alt modes have always been secondary. I mean, Megatron got... Really, for Megatron, his alt mode, really the only thing that's really been defining about it is that it must have... Is that, at least in the G1 sense of Megatron, it has to have a giant gun somewhere on it. Right,
and I mean, I think that the most expressive of any Megatrons, whether it be comics, cartoons, whatever, I'm more speaking so for cartoons than comics, but for the cartoons, outside of Beast Wars, the most expressive for Megatron as far as the alt mode was the animated helicopter design, I think, as far as the cartoons go.
Well, I mean, with what this looks to be borrowing a page from the War Within comics, just looking at a lot of the designs and stuff and how it's stylized. And also, another of note is the fact that when I saw that Optimus Prime, the first thing I thought of in terms of style was was something that's pre-established, not War Within or anything, but Derek Yaniger's art from the G2 comic series.
Mm-hmm.
Like that Prime really evokes Yaniger's Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And it is, and that gives me high hopes for this because I'm looking at how you look at how well Clone Wars did on Cartoon Network. That's a fairly mature show. They pushed the envelope a bit further with the second season as well, and because they knew they could. And really, you look at that. There's a lot of blowing up, a lot of violence, a lot of war.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this and seeing Hasbro owns the Star Wars line. They know firsthand how well Clone Wars is doing as a property for them. So looks like to me that they want to do the same thing with Transformers. And that's not a bad thing at all. That's a great thing.
No, that's
a horrible thing for my wallet.
That's more than fine. I just did not want to get, oh, hey kids, this is Revenge of the Fallen animated. I just did not want to get the same movie line story continuity in a new
lot of us
cartoon.
were hoping that we weren't going to, and to be perfectly honest, I think that the big reason that Hasbro wouldn't want to do something like that is because they want to give Michael Bay all the rope that they can to
hang himself.
I figured you were going to make that remark as soon as I said that, but they want to give him they want to give him as much slack as he can in order to create his own world. They don't really want to constrain him with anything, and besides, this way it's a return as well to, like, Hasbro likes to do very different things to get different demographics. Like this here, it looks like that for the people who didn't like the movie, for the people who didn't like animated, there's not many of them, but they looked at what people didn't like about animated, which was stylization and stuff, or at least a chunk of the fan base didn't like about it, because a lot of us warmed up to it. But they went with a clone. Definitely, it's a Clone Wars inspired look.
Yeah.
In that it's very stylized CGI. I think that'll be very close to what we get on the show. And the thing with CGI as well is that they can do a lot of that to animation. Looking at how quickly they've been pumping out season 2 of the Clone Wars, considering that they only announced it it wasn't even at San Diego Comic-Con they announced it, was it?
No, it was before Comic-Con.
But they announced season 2?
No,
I think they announced season 2 at Comic-Con. So.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, really, they've had, when you consider when season 1 started, they've had very good turnaround on this series.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to Clone Wars at all.
Okay, well,
I just don't.
Okay, it's a good show. So, I mean, as a Star Wars fan, I do like it indeed. So. Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. I was at my mom's today doing some of her, not to get too personal, but she's having a hard time getting around. So I went over and helped her do some of her laundry that she needed to get done. And the whole time I was over there watching TV, I kept seeing ads for Kmart and how they're saying, "Oh, we have a deal: buy 2 Transformers, get 1 free." So I'm like, can we go to Kmart? Because I want to see what they get. First of all, the only places outside of online purchasing, the only places I go for my Transformers is the local Walmart and the local Target, which are, a 10-minute walk from my apartment. I've never looked for. I've been in Kmart before, but I've never looked for Transformers there. I just haven't. Well, hang on. I went over to the one that's closest to us. I saw 2 oil slicks, as far as the animated lines, 2 oil slicks, 1 Jazz, a Soundwave, and a Voyager lug nut. The rest of it was like these weird Revenge of the Fallen 10 packs of mini toys.
Oh, the Minicons?
Yeah, I didn't Minicons are evil, damn it.
Aren't those Universe 10 packs, the Minicons?
No, It might be 2 different ones, because I saw nothing that said Transformers Universe. I saw everything that said it said Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and it was the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen packaging. And this was not the on peg. This was the ones that just sit on the shelves. So I don't know what it was. But there wasn't... Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say that, it's good to see that there's lots of Revenge of the Fallen stuff at the place that paid Hasbro money to be the official retailer for the Revenge of the Fallen toy line.
Yeah, true.
And then Target got all the exclusives anyway, so...
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. But I mean, there wasn't really any Universe stuff there. I was expecting to see like some leftover Universe stuff, like I saw the leftover animated stuff. I'm going to be going to another Kmart location tomorrow morning and checking it out and see, because buy 2 deluxes, get 1 free. That's not a bad deal. I mean, the deluxe.
No, that isn't.
The deluxes that I was looking at were like I said, the oil slick and the Jazz and all that. They're like $12.88. They're like $13.
Right. So, well, Oil Slick's an underrated. He's an underrated figure, I'd say. I mean, at this point, I almost wonder if you'd want to wait for the repaint because it's more show accurate in its colors. But
yeah, the only toys, as far as animated, the only toys out of the ones that have not been released yet that I'm looking forward to is Vortex Blur, RC, and Rodimus, and Fugitive Waspinator.
I want that Ratchet pretty badly. So
Cybertron mode, and
the Ironhide, the remold that they're doing from it. So
the Ironhide. See, I wonder how they're going to do that though.
New head. It's the same body.
No. I know that, but I mean, as far as the overall color and design, because I thought, a lot of the animated toys, some of the stuff has surprised me with what they've done or haven't done as far as being cartoon accurate. And I'm wondering if they would put a gimmick in there for Ironhide to be kind of cartoon accurate, like go from his orange to his silver mode.
No, they're not going to do that.
They're
not going to do that. He's just going to be the same mold with a new head.
Yeah.
And I imagine he'll be more of an orangish red. So.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. I actually made an awesome deal with one of my buddies on Twitter. He's also on TFW. I have been bugging Michael Wilson for months. He has a unopened Leader Class Megatron, the original version. And
that one you got your hands on?
And I've wanted, no, not Michael's version, but I have 2 extra, because when I ordered my Wave 2 Mighty Mugs, the cheapest way I could get them was to get them from BBTS. Mm-hmm. But I already had Optimus and Bumblebee. So I have an extra Optimus and Bumblebee that I wasn't going to open, the G1 versions. So I talked to this friend. I said, hey, look, I've got these 2 Mighty Mugs. I've also got Universe Starscream that's coming in on Saturday. I said, do you know anybody or does anybody know anybody that has a animated Megatron that is either in box, mint in box, or, not really that well, not really played with that much. And he said he did. So yeah, I basically traded 3 in-package figures for a very pretty much excellent condition Megatron. So at least I don't have to worry about hunting that thing down again.
That's pretty good. So you traded some Mighty Mugs for it, or?
Yeah, Mighty Mugs, G1 Optimus, and G1 Bumblebee, and Universe 2.0 Starscream, because I'm not really into the jets unless I get a hold of the G1 versions of them. I don't know, I like the look of them, but it's not something I have room for, really.
Fair enough. It's a good mold. That's fair enough.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it's not a good mold. It looks awesome, but number one, I'm not a Starscream fan, and number two, I just, at the current time, with the way that my shelf is, I don't have room for a jet. Yeah, I could put them in robot mode.
Right.
I want the Megatron more than I want the Starscream, so.
That's fair enough. But yeah, speaking of deal, I found something that was a ridiculous deal as well this week up in Canada at the Superstore. It's a retailer up here. They're mainly like groceries and other stuff, but
right.
they've been having what TFA Voyagers they have marked down for $15 the last bit, and as you know probably from previous episodes, it took forever for me to get my hands on a Shockwave, gray Shockwave, and then of course they finally started showing up and became not that hard to find, to the point where Superstore has a whole ton of these for $15 of the Shockwave Skywarps.
Oh, cool.
And so, like, I got some extras because I was like, okay, I've actually got 3 gray Shockwaves now, 1 in box and 2 loose. And anyway, so it turns out that this week they've now got them buy one get one for Voyagers on top of the $15. So yeah, I've got a friend of mine whose birthday's coming up, so I went and got him both Shockwave and Skywarp. So.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, $15 for $60 worth of toys. That's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm talking in Canadian prices here for those who don't.
Yeah, and I kind of figured as much. Because wait. $15 for what would normally be. Are you sure that's $60 for a Voyager?
No, that's for 2.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I paid $15 for 2 Voyagers.
Okay. I was going to say, all right, yeah. Yeah. Let's see, what else was I going to say? I almost wish that RC wasn't going to be a Toys R Us exclusive, because I don't go out there all that often. I might be able to convince my mom to go out there. I don't know at this point. I just don't know. And I don't actually know what, I was really disappointed when I went to Kmart tonight. Because I thought that I would find just a whole bunch of Voyagers. Mainly, of course, I'm wanting more Primes, but I was hoping to at least find possibly a Blitzwing, because I am kind of liking Blitzwing's alt mode. Or not alt mode, the alt modes suck. His robot mode.
It's fun, yes.
Yeah, the robot mode's great. I think if I had him in robot mode, I would keep him as Crazy Face all the time.
Right. Speaking of toy-related stuff with animated, you saw the news about Japan getting the animated toys?
Yep.
Took them long enough, and I guess the question now is if there's going to be anything different.
Probably.
Well, not necessarily. It could very well be like what they did with, for instance, the tail end of Transformers Cybertron, where they basically released the same toys with USA Edition stickers on them. Mm-hmm. Like same packaging and everything, they just added USA Edition stickers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, I know I'm going to have to look into getting the lug nut.
Look, why would you want another one?
To answer your question, I've got the TFA regular lug nut, I've got Atomic lug nut, I've got McDonald's lug nut, I've got all the lug nuts that exist.
Yeah, but if the Japan one is the exact same one as the American one, why would you want the exact...
Well, I'd keep it in box then, of course.
Okay, alright, well, that's fair. I mean, hell, honestly, if you wanted another one for in-box, I could have grabbed the one that was at Kmart tonight.
Yeah, but if I want, I can always try and see if I can get a price match at Toys R Us with the Superstore flyer, so...
Yeah, well, that's true.
Because they've still got lug nuts there, so...
Yeah. Let's see, what else? Oh, crap.
I think that's really the main stuff with new news.
Yeah, again, they're going to start casting this new cartoon. I think it would be awesome, and we kind of touched on this in the interview with David Kay. It would be awesome if they got Cullen as Prime and used him as Megatron. That would be cool.
Used K as Megatron, you mean?
Yeah.
Honestly, what I would love to see is I'd love to see a Cullen for this show. Going off what we're seeing, I'd love to see a Cullen Megatron and a Corey Burt. Sorry, a Cullen Prime and a Corey Burton Megatron.
I mean, we've seen
simply because I like K's Megatron. Don't get me wrong, but as far as a G1-esque Megatron is concerned, I just I don't know how well I would like his voice on that type of Megatron. I think that K delivers a very different Megatron than Burton and Welker did. So.
Well, and that's the whole point. But I seriously doubt K would bring Beast Wars and Unicron Trilogy voice to this new series. I seriously doubt he would do that. I would think that he would use another different voice than the original one that he did. But we can only speculate and go from there.
That's true. Mind you, you're talking to somebody who'd love to see Lugnut in this series. So.
No.
I'd settle for him voicing Onslaught, what appears to be Onslaught, going off those screenshots, though, just because of that giant mace.
Okay, well, that's...
Onslaught could work with a David Kay voice.
No Lugnut. Just no Lugnut. This right here, this sound clip right here is about as close as you're going to get to Lugnut.
General Techno, this is Lugnut, and it's your duty to serve the great and glorious Megatron.
And I would like to point out that the connection the night that we recorded the interview was kind of wonky. I tried to fix it the best I could. My buddy Steve even contacted one of his audio buddies and asked him if there was any way to clean it up at all without losing the actual audio, and he said there's just no way you can, because there's like an overall echo in the background, unfortunately. And I'm not gonna be a jerk and say, oh yeah, Mr. K, we have to have you back on, because I'm not going to do that. I'm very grateful and very happy that he had the time that he had to give to us for the interview that we got. Right. So,
I've got a spare set of speakers. I should consider looking into rigging up something just designed to play that sound clip whenever I press a button, and then put it on a Lugnut shrine.
When I first got the go-ahead on that, I was like, oh boy, I got to do something for Techno, because he'll go nuts.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah, I was like, I got to have him say something. So, all right, we are going to take a break, and we will be right back with the toy discussion. We are back, and as I said earlier in this episode, I did get the Wave 2 Mighty Mugs. What I'm going to be talking about this evening is Grimlock. When I first saw reviews of him, I was very skeptical. I like G1 Grimlock. He is a very comedic character. But I wasn't sure how he was going to translate into Mighty Mugs. Just because I just don't know. I think outside of the original G1 toy, the best Grimlock I've seen as far as the G1 character is the Masterpiece Grimlock. This guy, he's okay. He's not my favorite, but he's not the worst in the line. He's not the worst in the entire Mighty Mug series. That honor goes to Bumblebee. Fucking midget. Just as we've said before, the box comes, the custom box comes with his little face on the top, and the little the 3-dimensional image of him. It's actually very funny. I noticed this. I did a video for Starscream, which is the other one I got, and Grimlock, showing them off out of packaging.
Yeah.
And I didn't notice this on the box. It says Enter Joe or Enter Go Sword. I know what it's supposed to say. It's supposed to say Enter John, but
actually, I'm not sure. It might be Enter Joe Sword.
No, I don't think so. I think somebody just left the N off.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've seen that term before. I'm pretty sure. I'm just double checking this right now. Yeah, Energo Sword. That's the actual term.
Really?
Yes, it is. I'm looking this up on. An Energo weapon is a melee weapon that uses Energon to power a shaped energy field. There's a wiki entry on it.
Yeah, but it would make it much easier to say Energon Sword than Energo's.
Yes, but apparently that's the actual terminology.
Yeah.
And it's not just the Dinobots that have them either. Hooligan's got an Energo Axe. Oh, Blazemaster from the movie line, his rotor blades are Energo weapons. Bombburst has one. Quintessons have Energo tendrils.
Okay.
So there's plenty of precedent for Energo swords.
Okay. Yes, his Energo Sword, or Energon Sword, whatever you want to call it, is red. It's the same red that he has on his visor and on his crotch. I do like the fact that they kept with the gold chest and the Autobot symbol on there. I think the two biggest things that they brought into this mold, or not really mold, because all the Mighty Mugs molds are the same, but into the design of Grimlock is they brought part of, I believe, what is supposed to be his feet. It's like a silver, like there's the gray on his foot, but then there's like a silver claw thing on the side of his leg, kind of like what Prime has the wheels. And then on his back, he's got his Tyrannosaurus head upside down,
Cool.
which is kind of cool.
Cool. Does he have gray on the back as well?
Yeah.
To imitate the side panels?
It's like a whitish. It's like a very light gray. It's like a silver. There's like a little silver, almost musical note type of thing on both sides. And then it's got like gold, like right up at the top of his head. And it's, like I said, it's got the T-Rex face with the mouth and the eyes. And yeah, but it's really cool. I like him. I like him better than I thought I was going to. Ooh, I just noticed something else on his left arm. Is it just his left arm? No, it's his left and right arm. He has the I believe these are supposed to be his feet in dinosaur mode. He has gold. He has two gold claw things on.
Yeah, that would be a homage stat.
Yeah, on the front of his arm, and then on the back of his arm, he has one of them, which is very cool. I think what they put in the design to these Mighty Mugs.
Yes, the Mighty Mugs are great for the little nods they put all over the place.
Yeah, I just lost a couple of brain cells watching Sean Long's Mighty Mug reviews for Shockwave, Jazz, Movie Optimus, and Movie Bumblebee. Only because his ad for his sponsor, that guy needs to just slow down and take a breath, for Christ's sake. I mean, he was talking 1,000,000 miles a minute. I get that that's his personality, fine, whatever. But, yeah, I was like, oh.
But nothing against the sponsor whatsoever.
Oh, no. Big Bad Toy Store rocks. No. I wasn't saying anything against the sponsor.
I'm just making sure it's clear.
No, yeah, exactly. No. I wasn't saying anything against the sponsor. I was saying against the person that was doing the video that was...
I'm just giving you a hard time making it clear.
Yeah, exactly. But, watching those videos of Shockwave and Jazz, I can't wait to get those. I so cannot wait till those come in. Right now they're sitting in California in customs. I don't know how long they're going to be held up there. But I so cannot wait to get that Shockwave in my hands. He did point out that on Shockwave, Shockwave has the antlers. They're just painted on, like Grimlock's are,
That's what I figured they would be.
which is fine with me. Well, Sean had mentioned that Jazz has the ears like Bumblebee does, and that's something that I don't like. When I first got Bumblebee and I saw it, I'm like, what? I just don't like the devil ears on the Mighty Mugs. I don't know what it is. I just don't. The Jazz looks awesome, though, outside of the ears issue. It's very funny. Jazz, the G1 Jazz figure that was in the video, and the movie Bumblebee, they have doors on the back of them, kind of like Starscream has his wings.
Oh, cool.
I think it's a cool thing, but I don't know, it's just kind of weird. I will be keeping the G1 Jazz and Shockwave, and I'll probably either be selling or trading the movie Optimus and the movie Bumblebee because I don't want those.
Fair enough.
Yes. Overall, I would recommend that you highly get Grimlock, I guess. He's not the worst in the line. He's not the best either. But, really great figure if you're a Grimlock fan. Just overall good figure. The Enerjo or Energon sword is actually a very hard plastic, but it does, the sword blade does bend a little bit. His arms are very tight. I've had varying degree of looseness / tightness on the Mighty Mugs that I've gotten, but his right arm is very, very tight. His head is, to turn his head 360, it's very, very tight. I think the only one that I have that has an extremely loose head is Soundwave. I mean, if you just touch it, it'll move. But overall, great figure. My Mighty Mugs collection, unless they come out with another wave past Wave 3, is pretty much finished. As far as the Transformers Mighty Mugs anyway, I'm actually, as I said in the last episode, I'm really liking a lot of the Marvel ones. So, what are you going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking about something I just got this past weekend. We didn't get these guys for ages and ages, but then some sightings got made of this wave in Canada. And then, sure enough, we got a huge snowstorm on Friday, so I didn't go and look anywhere then. I just went. I wasn't going to go out hunting for stuff. And then on Saturday I log on to just check signs and stuff and find out, holy crap, there's a whole ton of long hauls and grindors at the Toys R Us right nearby me. And Toys R Us also has them on for $5 less this week. So
cool. Naturally,
I then go, okay, the roads are a bit clearer now. It's a day later. And I go off and get long haul and grindor. So I'm going to talk about long haul.
Okay.
The Voyager class from the Revenge of the Fallen toy line.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, long haul, he's a neat figure. He's a design that I've wanted the toy of ever since I saw that Josh Nizzi concept art, well before that was even official concept art.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was just an awesome piece of fan art at the time.
Right.
And then we found out the guy got hired on. And then for icing on the cake, we found out that long haul was actually in the movie.
Yeah. Now, what is his alt mode? Because I don't think I've ever seen the alt mode for the figure.
Okay, well, his alt mode is essentially the same type of alt mode as the original long haul, only scaled up. It's a big dump truck, only it's not a construction dump truck. It's more of an industrial-sized dump truck, like the type you would see in oil sands and such like that.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those massive dump trucks with the huge oversized wheels.
Okay.
I think it got scaled down compared to Nizzi's original concept art for the movie. I don't think it's quite as big as Nizzi's design was, but it's still a very big truck. So,
all right.
Like robot mode. He's all right in terms of accuracy. He's got the Mech Alive gimmick thing where you turn the head and there's a gear on the chest that moves when you turn the head. Nothing too spectacular. He's got flip-out blades, like the two pauldrons he has on his forearms, which in the video game these are flamethrowers and or grenade launchers, depending on what weapon you're using. But on the toy, there's little switchblades that pop out when you press the button. They store away really well, and I'm honestly tempted. What I was doing with my long haul, if anyone saw my pictures on Twitter, is I saw him. He had, as far as paint apps go, some of the Revenge of the Fallen figures are kind of weak, admittedly. And having seen concept art and stuff, I thought, okay, I know there's all this deco on the chest I want to fill in. So I'd look at pictures, I start filling in deco and stuff, like do the mouth and do the chest. And then I accidentally, in the midst of this, figured out how to do dry brush effects with Gundam markers in the Kleenex. Several hours late at night later. I spent pretty much the whole evening doing a dry brush on all of Long Haul, so he looks really awesome now. Detail is brought out, like the detail on this guy is just phenomenal. It's brought out really well by what I did on there. Like you can see all the detail, all the molded detail, and it looks really good. And yeah, with the swords, I'm actually kind of thinking, I'm kind of tempted to do something like paint them up so that they look more like flamethrowers or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Give them more of a flame effect, because that would look pretty cool.
Yeah.
And just looking at them now, actually, I just noticed this now. It looks like that there's actually cyberglyphs on the swords themselves.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, at first I was looking, it's like, is that some sort of serial number? And then, no, it's on the other one. Those are cyberglyphs. Cool. But yeah, posability-wise, he's alright. He has the curling arms, as they're called, in that he has no... what he could have really used was a ball joint on his... on either his elbow or on his... or rather swivel on his elbow or on his wrist, because his wrist can only go up and down, so he's kind of limited in poses in terms of that, in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And legs are fairly posable as well. They're hindered by the backpack. He doesn't have a waist turn, again, because of the way he has the legs clip on, but that's no big deal. His head is just a swivel, no ball joint. And yeah, so there's only so many, you can't really bend him down that easily as a result. I've seen some mods for a lot of these points, like for the wrists and neck. There's some mods on TFW 2005 and tutorials on how to do these.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not going to do them myself, and really the biggest complaint I have with this figure, though, about his robot mode is the backpack, in that it's not the greatest in terms of show accuracy, just the way the shoulder kibble, the wheels that are on his shoulders work out. Like, they're not quite lined up the way they are in the concept art. And there's a big crossbar that's over his head that looks like it should have had a pin in there so that it could fold back. But the way it's built, it looks like they could have put a pin in there. There's supports for it and everything. It's set up that way, that it was certainly plausible. But it looks like that for whatever reason they didn't do that. So it's locked in place, and it really gives him a lot of back kibble. Now, there's different ways you can arrange the back kibble, fortunately, a bit to make it a bit better. I found a way to arrange it that it limits his arm posability a bit, but it makes it look a lot better. And again, there's mods on TFW with instructions on how to mod this guy to put a pin in that piece so that you can actually bend it back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the robot mode, though, it still looks pretty good, pretty intimidating. The sculpt is pretty movie accurate, aside from those issues. And then he's a very sizable Voyager, and when you transform him into vehicle mode, he's got a very good dump truck mode. For one, it has a working dumper thing, in that you can actually move it up and down, which is great. The dump truck bed works, and it looks really nice and intimidating. And I guess other things about it is that, well, I think part of it was just the way that his dump truck mode came out. It's actually too big to fit in a regular Voyager box, in that it's too tall.
Uh-huh.
Like the dimensions, I think part of it is just that he compacts into a dump truck that it's bulky. It's not that big in terms of the amount of space it would take up in a box, but it's pretty tall. So the way they actually packaged him was in robot mode. So I think that makes him the only figure that in the toy line that saw wide release that wasn't an exclusive who was packaged in robot mode in the box. Oh wait, sorry, there was the Fallen as well. But the Fallen and Long Haul are both two Voyagers that were essentially packaged the same way.
In robot mode in the box?
Yeah.
And wasn't that just normally for the leaders?
Yeah, normally they do that only for the leaders. I think part of it, I mean, in the Fallen's case, they could have easily packaged him in vehicle mode, but because his vehicle mode isn't in the movie at all, I think they just did it because then otherwise people wouldn't know who the heck it was.
Yeah.
And with Long Haul's vehicle mode wasn't in the movie, but I think that was probably more of just it wouldn't look any good in packaging issue.
Yeah, true.
Kind of like how on Voyager Bulkhead he barely took up any space in the box. because he compacts down so much in his vehicle mode.
Yeah. Huh.
But Long Haul is a bit of an even more extreme situation in that he's a lot bigger. He's got fairly long limbs, so he actually takes up quite a bit more space in robot mode. So he fills a box really well, like how the Fallen fills a box.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, overall good figure. He's not the best Voyager in the toy line, I'd say. There's Starscream's definitely a better Voyager, for instance, and I'm just trying to think of what other Voyagers I have. Mixmaster, he's definitely a lot easier to handle than Mixmaster, because Mixmaster's it'll take you half an hour to get him transformed figure, even though he's very fiddly, even though he looks good. But Long Haul, he's simple enough to be easily transformable. His gimmick's a bit limited. He looks he looks fairly intimidating, and repaintable wise, he looks really, really good if you take the time to do some touch-ups on him. And yeah, I would recommend him, especially if you're a fan of the design. Although, to be honest, I don't have the Fast Action Battlers, but having seen that toy in stores, it honestly looks pretty good as well.
Yeah.
So, really it comes down to what you're willing to pay, but I think the Fast Action Battlers is just as good a Long Haul, because it doesn't have the same backpack issues, but it's smaller.
Yeah, very cool. You had mentioned die-cast construction earlier.
Die-cast construction. It's a lost art.
So
Titanium Primal is a lost art then?
Yes.
Primal himself, a lost art.
Yes. It's funny, normally I throw inserts, like when I order stuff, I'll throw inserts, advertisements away. I'm looking at this latest BBTS toy card that they sent in the package that I got with the Mighty Mugs. Living Dead Dolls presents Freddy Krueger. Actually, it looks really, really good. It's a little bit taller than the actual Mighty Mugs figures. What else is on here that looks good? Well, no, whatever. I don't know. Earlier we were talking in the Ravage episode about the actual need for USB device that it doesn't hold that much, like the 2 gig. They have on here Yum Drive, 2 gigabyte USB flash drive, Hershey's miniature chocolate bar. So you're telling me that, just going off of the Ravage thing, just playing a little joke here, you're telling me that I'm going to have a giant chocolate bar hopping across my computer screen once I plug it in?
That would be kind of funny. Either that or just don't eat that chocolate bar.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure that all the metal in there can't be good for you. The copper and stuff probably isn't going to be good for you.
Yes, exactly.
I know that I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I did get my Ravage in, and he is very nice indeed.
Yeah, I think you had mentioned him. I don't know. I think we talked about him a little bit.
Yeah, we did talk about him in the Ravage episode, but I don't remember if I actually brought him up or not. And I did get and I actually got, as well, I got a bunch of, like the week afterwards, I got a bunch of the G1 cassettes in the mail, the Encore, the set 2 of the G1 cassettes.
Yeah.
Which is the one with Slugfest, Ramhorn, I'm just trying to remember who else is in there. What... This is bugging me, but I'm just going to stop here because otherwise I'm going to be kicking myself for not remembering.
Yeah, if I want to get better Decepticon cassettes, I would get the original cassettes.
They're the reissues of the original.
Right. But I'm saying if I wanted to get not the original versions, but if I wanted to get the original main characters that Soundwave had, like Ratbat and Laserbeak and Rumble.
Ratbat's in the set.
Oh, is he? Well, what I'm saying is I would get that SDCC Soundwave is what I would get. Okay. That's just for me.
But yeah, it had Ramhorn, Steeljaw, Slugfest, and Ratbat. So, a fairly good selection.
Yes.
And Volume 3 looks like it's pretty good as well in that one's got Rumble Frenzy, Laserbeak, and Overkill.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that one's, I didn't even know they had the Rumble and Frenzy molds anymore, given they haven't used them in so long. So that one was a pleasant surprise.
As long as Rumble's purple and Frenzy's red, that's all I care about.
Well, it's probably going to be labeled the same way the toys are, but you realize that Rumble's toy was never that there was never a purple version of the toy. It was blue.
I know, it sucks.
But yeah, one thing I did though, in terms of pictures, that's kind of neat. Is I was just fiddling around. I got tempted by some certain people on Twitter to pick up one of the final Bionicle figures, the Bionicle All Stars line, which is going to be the last toy line for Bionicle. And I got a Tahu to go for full circle because I had the original one. And I'm just fiddling around with his mask right now and putting it on Tails from my 3-inch Tails. And I can actually kind of hold on.
You just love torturing Tails, don't you?
It's not torture. It's Tails wearing a Bionicle mask.
I never get into the Bionicle
cool,
thing. I don't know. I never really get into it.
I didn't either, mind you. So.
The actual art for this episode is actually brought to us by you. I'm going to be using your Transformers Powerpuff Girls art. Why don't you tell us where the idea for that came from?
Okay, that's simple enough. I was basically listening to. I'd gotten on a YouTube kick of watching old Powerpuff Girls episodes, essentially, and was listening to. Yeah, I came up with that while listening to the end credits music in a loop, and thought, okay, I need to find a Transformers equivalent of this to draw, or at least come up with. Went upstairs, looking at my toys, couldn't think of one. Then I saw the 2 RC bikes I had, and of course it became obvious. And then of course Mojo Jojo, because of the IDW comics, Mojo Jojo easily became Thundo Cracker. And I've done up concepts ideas as well for instance, having him as the Fallen and the Gangrene Gang as the Constructicons.
Oh my God. I
haven't drawn that last one out, but that would be the concept anyway.
Oh wow, that's too funny.
And I think the mayor would probably be would either be Skids or Wheelie, because of Tom Kenny. Because Tom Kenny voiced the mayor, so
yeah,
you get Tom Kenny character, probably Skids because of the whole monocle type thing I could do with the eye, which would be similar to the mayor.
Yeah. Okay then. So I think we are going to close with this.
Podcast good.
There once was a boy, an albino I'm told, who possessed the power of pen pusher gold. He had many stories, all short and exciting, but nobody knew, and so he began writing. He sat there all summer and skillfully sought to perfectly ponder and polish each plot. The settings were set, all the characters cast, his fingers were flying and flailing so fast, and soon the young man with the snowy complexion quickly concocted the caffeine collection. He smiled, satisfied with his clever creation. Oh, the things that did pour from his imagination. Stories of pirates and future police, of devils and bullies, and a twist press release. Fantasy, mystery, both are included. Comedy, action, no genre excluded. You say to yourself, it's too good to be true, but author Steve Saylor would not lie to you. An audiobook so you don't have to read. And hey, $15 is all that you need.
From the author of the podcast novel Black Shadow, Steve Saylor presents The Caffeine Collection, a dynamic audiobook collection of short stories presented by ringtonefeeder.com and stevesaylor.net. Steve presents a genre mashup of multiple stories for your ears.
I have to be on caffeine to write all this.
Steve Saylor presents The Caffeine Collection, on sale October 28th, 2009.
So mark this date down so you will not forget. For more information, stevesaylor.net.
Thanksgiving is just 1 week away and Christmas is right around the corner. Are you looking for a gift for family members and friends that is slightly not the average gift? Well, look no further. I am TFG1 Mike from the GeekCast Radio Network, and besides podcasting, I am also a published author of poetry. I have 3 books of poetry published and 1 for sale right now. It is The Twists of Faith and Fate. This is an 85-page softcover book. It comes signed and only costs $20 per copy. I have 20 or more copies available. For more details, email me at tfg1podcast@gmail.com.
Thank you for joining us here on ToyCast. There are several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. The first is you can visit www.geekcastradio.com and find all the other GCRN podcasts there. The second is you can stop by PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Those are our new forums. The third is you can leave the show feedback on iTunes. Please do this. The fourth is you can visit another great geek culture website, earth-2.net, and you can find our threads in their forums under the self-promotion section. The fifth is the email address, which is tftoycast@gmail.com. Yes, the email address will stay the same. Even though the actual show name is changed to just ToyCast, I'm not getting another email address. I have too many already. So it's tftoycast@gmail.com. We now have a voicemail line. Call us and leave us your thoughts on each episode. Be sure to say what show you're leaving a message for and your name. The number is 502-526-5821. You can also follow us on Twitter. The show name there is TFToycast. Again, actually I tried, and just plain ToyCast is already taken. Bastards. So that will also remain TFToycast. Mine is TFD1Mike, and what is your Twitter, sir?
Mine is General Techno. No underscores, no spaces, or anything.
Yes, we hope you enjoyed this episode of ToyCast and wish you'll join us next time. Be sure to visit our sponsors, www.bigbadtoystore.com, for all your Transformers and other toys necessities. Currently, they are still running a sale. I don't know how much longer it's going to be, but you can save up to 20 to 90% off any and all toys. They also buy toys. You have toys you want to sell, you can email vintage@bigbadtoystore.com. One of the great things about Big Bad Toy Store is the pile of loot. Save money on shipping, combine and hold orders, add in-stocks to pre-order shipments. We'll ship when you are ready. I think that's just super awesome. So for now, I am TFD1Mike with General Techno saying the immortal words of Optimus Prime, transform and roll out, and thank you for listening. Until next time.